You're listening to
Don't Take This Personally,
Personally.
a podcast about the business of creativity.
We are your hosts, wedding photographers, entrepreneurs, and friends, Cami Oliveria.
And Gabe Conover. Now let's get into it.
Let's get into it. And don't take it personally, whatever we're about to say.
Yes.
Don't. Do not take this personally.
It's us again.
It's us again. Playing guitar to our song.
Victor will be so disappointed in us.
He really will. Okay, so welcome back to another episode. It's June. It's summer.
Oh.
The sun is shining. Maybe it's a gray.
The tank is clean. Sorry.
Maybe we're all having busy wedding seasons. Are you having a busy wedding month, dear listener?
Wow.
We are.
We are.
We are. No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant
June's
it like.
gonna kill me.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how I meant
Yeah.
it. Like, oh, if you're listening to this, we are
We're
having
probably gonna die.
a hard time.
Yeah.
Send
us an encouraging message.
Yeah, just an
Tell us
encouraging-
we're gonna make it.
Yeah, and if you're also having a busy time, hang in there. The wedding industry is gonna fucking go through it this year in a
Yeah.
fun way. People are like more excited to be celebrating than ever, but
Yeah, that's true.
it's gonna be our busiest year, and I just want everyone to keep in mind that these aren't normal circumstances. So
Yeah.
do your best, kind of treat it like a 9 to 5 if you have to. Avoid burnout where you can to keep your energy up for the parties,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do your best and forget the rest.
Do your best and just do good enough.
P90X.
Your wife.
That's a quote from them.
Your wife just sent me a text.
Oh,
We're having a
that's
conversation
nice.
right now.
Aw. Tell her we're busy working.
We're busy working. Okay, so today we are talking about education and workshops, and the thing that seems like it's the goal almost right now, and I think
like you've made it once you are able to do this. type of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel that.
There is this sense that it's like, that's almost like the end goal of being a wedding photographer. And I understand where this comes from,
Right.
because
You've learned the craft
You've
and now
learned the
you're able to teach it,
craft.
and it's a much like less physical work on
yeah,
you.
this job is hard physically.
Yeah.
And we've had conversations before where I'm like, man, do we have an expiration date in this? Like, what is the end goal here? We can't do this forever. Physically, we cannot do
Yeah.
this forever. So it does seem like the push to be an educator is kind of what feels like is next for
Yeah.
wedding photographers. And then more than ever, because of COVID, you've seen entrepreneurs pivoting into education,
being forced to pivot.
more than ever.
Yeah.
So,
Which is also understandable.
Which is totally understandable. So, yeah, we were excited to have a chat just about the future of education, how to do it right, how to know if it's right for you, etc. All the things.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
gonna
some-
get spicy for 1 second later, but it's
We'll
gonna
challenge each other a little bit.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. It is good stuff. So, first thing, how do you know if you should be an educator?
So this is a great question because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, like I know how to shoot weddings. I know how to do a really good job at whatever my craft is. That means that I can teach people, which is not wrong. Like it's true. It's true that you are capable of teaching people. But I feel like for me personally, especially because education is so easy to access at this point, and it's like because of technology, it's also easy to put education out there.
Yeah.
Because you literally don't have to be in a physical place to like learn. You can like create webinars and you can
I'm
do all this
all
online
about
stuff.
virtual workshops.
Yeah.
I never want to go
You're listening to a podcast.
I never want to go to an in-person workshop again after this year.
I mean, it makes sense.
Give me
like
the
if you can do
content
it
from my couch.
Yeah, if you can do it from the comfort of your own home, why not?
Yeah.
So my biggest thing is like, well, if you're going to put education out there, you have to like know that your efforts are going to be successful, because if you're just going to teach on all of the basic normal stuff that every like wedding photographer or person in your industry teaches on, then the odds are that it's not going to be as successful, because that's already kind of a saturated thing that's out there. Like I can't tell you how many different guides I have seen to everything as far as like photography goes, from like posing to advertising to all of these different courses that are taught by different people. So one of two things. I feel like you have to, if you're going to teach on like a topic like that is common, you have to have something new to bring to the table, something unique, or maybe a different teaching style that speaks to a different type of person that you haven't seen out there. Or you have to be bringing something completely new to the table, like a completely different idea or tool that just you don't see out there.
I think it's important to keep in mind that different people do learn from different types of
Correct.
personalities.
Correct.
So, like we've talked about in previous episodes, there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
There isn't. And so it would be really freaking hard to have totally unique, original ideas for educational content.
Right.
So I don't think it having to be new is necessarily a requirement.
No, definitely not a requirement.
Because there are some photographers, I want their posing guide. There are some I do not.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
So I think, different people connect to different teachers for different reasons.
Right.
So,
And because there are people out there that like I've gotten courses from that I'm just like, yeah, I didn't really learn anything from this. But I know other people that say like, oh, that was amazing. I learned so much. And so everyone has different things that they need, different things they need to learn, and then different ways that they even just do their business. Like not everyone does business like Cammy and I do. So it's not like everything.
But they should. That's why we have this podcast.
Literally the opposite of the point I was making. But it's good that we are communicating what our perspectives, because a lot of people can relate to us, but it's not going to work for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think if you are going to do an idea for a course or an educational piece of content that has been done before, just like we were talking about with styled shoots and inspiration, try to find a way to make it really unique to you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. So how do you know if you should be an educator? That was my question. So your answer to that was, do you have anything unique to offer?
Right. I think that being capable of putting education out there, I don't think it means that you have to be this photographer or person that has been successful for years or that like even has necessarily created a huge reputation. But if you have something that would be useful to people, then you can sell it. You can.
Totally.
So, oh my gosh, I'm literally about to quote Ratatouille.
I was like, what are you about to say?
This movie.
Dude, you're such a
But
dad.
the whole idea from the movie is that anyone, like the whole phrase, like anyone can cook, and yeah. But by the end of it, like the cynic critique is like, well, the whole idea is not that anyone can cook, but it's that a good cook can come from anyone. So like, so.
God, he is such a dad right now.
God,
you're right. Such a dad.
Ratatouille is a good one. It's one of Michelle's favorites. So yeah, the whole like it's not like you have to have this incredible reputation. I've gone and like learned things from people or gone to like classes and stuff like that from people who have this incredible reputation, and I leave and I'm like, why the hell does that person have such a big name? Because that sucked.
Yeah, so, I've been there too. I have been there too.
Yeah, just because you're new or just because you don't have as many years of experience doesn't mean that you don't have something new to bring to the table. And the new stuff, the new innovative stuff that is more relevant to modern culture is always the stuff that does the best anyway. So you need to do that.
My initial answer to this question, like, how do you know if you should be an educator? I think a simple answer could be, are people asking you? And so
that's also a great question. This
is the case, I think, for like mentor sessions, like when I had a bit of imposter syndrome around mentoring, but it was like, I mean, people were asking me. Yeah. So it's not like I was just coming out like, I'm going to do mentor sessions. People learn from me. Like, I actually did them without posting about it for like 2 years because I was just like doing them for people who asked me. And that was like maybe a key to me that like, oh, okay, maybe I am doing things in a way that people want to learn about. And I didn't know what form it would take for a while. For me, like one-on-one coaching and mentoring, I really enjoy. But you said something interesting about that you kind of think that model might be going away.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think so.
That's so interesting.
And I think it's because there's so much free education out there, which I think it's fine. It's fine that there's free education, but there's just not as much need for direct person-to-person mentorship. I think that, like, actually finding, like, business mentors in general, like, that aren't photographers is a wise thing to do, and that it's still a popular thing to do. But the whole, like, going out and doing a shoot with a photographer one-on-one and then talking about it and then learning from each other. Like, I think that's I do think it is a cool thing. I mean, it could just be COVID that stopped it from happening.
Yeah.
But I think everything revolving around like workshops and stuff like that in our community is withering away a little bit, because it's all been the same for a few years now.
Yes.
And people are looking for something new, and they're looking to like evolve that experience.
We're going to put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get there. And I'm very excited to get there. Another point is, what are we an expert in? Like, another answer to this question. Like, how do you know?
Oh, right. What are you an expert in?
How do you know if you should be teaching anything or be an educator?
Do you have an expertise?
Do you have something that you feel like you are an expertise in? To me, I would say I'm a fucking expert at moving a business. Straight up. I feel like I could lay, and it's not easy. It's not an easy road, but I could lay a map for you to like move your business to a new place in a sustainable way, and not have to be a traveling photographer forever. Like, to truly move your market into a, like, that's a thing I feel I'm very qualified to teach on. So I feel like I have a bit of an expertise there.
And I feel like I am an expert in coaching people to be fearless. Yeah.
I love that.
No, I do, because I could convince anyone to chase after like their ideas.
I have a lot I could say about that in what's happened in my life since even just being with you like once a week.
Yep.
Wow. That's
so
really...
you're agreeing with me.
No, I am. I'm like, wow. Even just
nice.
like what's happened in my life and business since like, I mean, we've always been friends. Like,
right.
We've been friends as long as we've known each other. But like, we'd see each other like once every few months.
Yeah.
But like the result in my life of like literally spending hours with you every single week, that's a whole nother topic on like building the people around you to like. So anyways, that's a whole nother thing. But I love that. Okay, wow, tangent. I feel like some episodes just end up like us being like, we like each other so much. Let's talk about how good friends we are. Do they want to hear about how much we love each other?
Oh my god. One episode it'll just be Gabe and Cammy hyping each other up.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, cool. So, okay. Let's move on then. He's getting hot.
It got really hot in here.
Why are you so hot? Why are you so hot? Jesus. We as if the rumors aren't already flying.
Literally.
Oh my god, this is so funny.
Anyway,
we are talking about education and workshops. Yeah. How we got to our rumors, I don't know. So, okay, moving on to this. What do you feel like is getting stale in the workshop? Wait, I want to back up. We didn't even talk about this in our prep. I just want to ask you, how was your experience leading a workshop?
It was so fun.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, workshop. I'm a very organized person. I'm very much like a big picture person too. So that kind of thing was really up my alley.
Cool.
Like easy for me, fun for me. I like by the end of it was like, yeah, that was a success. Like cool. I was organized, and that was the number one like goal of mine, was to actually do everything that I said I was going to do, and then organize it in a way that was comfortable for everyone.
Cool.
So yeah, I had a great time. I was actually like in the works to plan like 3 or 4 more for last year. And then I'm actually really glad it was put on hold for everything, because like I've definitely learned a lot about, I've changed everything that I think about our community over the last year. Because just of like, different business mindsets, and like how, Instagram and social media in our community like has really put certain things on a pedestal that don't really make any sense.
Wow, now I really want to go into that.
Yeah. I know. So as I've been like realizing where my success really comes from over the last year, and how it's not from what all of these big name people in our community were talking about for years now, I still love the idea of doing a workshop. I would just have to reinvent it in some way, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But because there is something to that in-person thing that people go to for a different reason. Like if I just wanted to learn something real quick, I would not be paying for this like 4-day long thing to go and learn.
Right.
There has to be another motivation there. And like the motivation for most people is to gain community, to have more like tangible answers, to like experience something that inspires them again. Because people leave these workshops normally feeling very, very inspired to like, because they have people like literally in their face, like, go do this. And that's my style, is very kindly aggressive. So like, I think that people leave being
kindly aggressive,
because I'm not like yelling at
maybe
people.
someday we'll host one together, and it would be a lot.
It would be a lot. It would be very aggressive.
It would be very aggressive.
But we're also so fun.
But it would be so fun. It would be like the craziest few days of people's lives.
Yeah, we'd slap you in the face and then take a shot with you right after. So
okay, I have all sorts of dreams now for what
we'll do it.
Okay, wow, so fun. Okay, so amazing. So yeah, Gabe has literally planned workshop before. I haven't. I've more just done like the one-on-one mentoring stuff, which I really enjoy. I hope that's not a thing of the past, but it hasn't really happened in the last year. You're right. That's a good point. I did quite a bit of it in 2019, and then 2020 it didn't happen. I'll just share my little piece.
Yes, please.
On what bothers me about workshop culture.
Yeah. I
realize I'm a minority in this mindset, I think. But like, I think group styled shoots are dumb.
They're dumb.
I just think they're dumb. I kind of do. Like, I recognize a lot of this could be my own anxiety. I freak out in group styled shoot setups. Like, I do not thrive.
No one thrives off of it. It's chaos.
Oh my gosh, it's chaos.
Yeah.
And I just feel like everyone's just like climbing over each other to get their shot. And it just really makes me very anxious and very stressed. And I leave them always upset. Like, I never leave them feeling happy. And like the FOMO of like, man, I didn't get the shots they get. But so maybe it could be coming from bitterness about that. I don't know. Maybe that's why I think they're dumb. But I don't think it like makes sense and helps a lot to give a bunch of photographers the same content images. And of course they're like over the top cool, because that ends up being like a draw for the workshop. But then like why this is coming up for me is right before COVID, I had a few mentor sessions with a few local photographers, and all of their header images were from the same styled shoot, the same couple, the same setup, and they're in the same market. And I was like, you guys, I really encourage them, like, do not, like, sure, go get the content shots, whatever, but don't rely on like your main marketing images for them, because I think I have heard of clients noticing. Yeah. Like, I've had clients be like, man, why is it that sometimes a bunch of photographers have the same couple like that in their stuff? That wasn't a real wedding then, right? Like, I do think people notice. And it also feels a little dishonest to me, which Gabe had an interesting rebuttal too when I brought this up earlier. But like, it just feels dishonest to me. Like, oh, look how experienced I am. I booked this really cool wedding. But like, no, you didn't.
So I'll be the first to say, like, if I ever do some sort of styled shoot, like anything, if it's whether it's from a workshop or just a personal styled shoot, I always make it very obvious that that's what it was. So, like in a blog post or in post, like, did this styled shoot, yada, yada, yada. I think
it's really important to be honest about that. I see too many people calling them weddings.
Yeah.
And that,
like, don't lie.
Don't lie.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Yeah. Don't lie.
Don't lie.
And I definitely agree with it from that perspective. However, at some point, you are going to post photos. Like, it's not like I've done styled shoots. There's styled shoots on your website. There's that one in that you did with
the fruit craft one.
Yes.
But I was the only photographer. No one else has those images.
Yes, I understand that. But if someone were to just come across that photo, most likely they're going to be like, oh, what a cool wedding you did.
I was just called out.
Which, no. I don't think it's wrong.
No, I like it. I'm telling you, I like it.
But
call me out. That's what we're doing here.
Yes, exactly.
It's fine.
It's the same type of thing where it's like, okay, it's not wrong for you to share those images as like work to show off that you're capable of doing cool stuff like that, or capable of like, it's important to show that you can shoot details well. It's important. And a lot of people are starting from a point where they have nothing. They don't have the resources to pull stuff together like that. They don't have the connections,
yes.
Which I agree. I've done the same thing where like I look at websites and I'm like, yep, I've seen that. I've seen that photo before. Like, what? I thought this person took it. And then I'm like, oh, it was a workshop. And yes, a few potential clients are going to notice that. For the most part, they're really not, though, because they're not looking for that. They don't know it's a thing.
Yeah.
They don't know that that's a thing. So why would they be searching for it? By the off chance that it does happen in that way, like, okay, like, whoops, are bad. But, who knows? Maybe I'm trying to think if I've ever, like, participated in a styled shoot.
Yeah, I have, and they're very stressful for me.
Besides leading them,
so
I've
maybe
never
that's why I get
participated.
so salty about it, because to me, I do not thrive in that environment. So I feel like I'm missing out on something when I'm a part of it, but don't get the images I wish I did or something. My favorite workshops are ones where shoots are not a part of it, where I can just go sit and absorb and learn. And I would love to go to a workshop where there's a shoot element in it, but the attendees aren't allowed to shoot.
Yeah.
Like, I want to so badly just, like, truly watch the shoot happen. Like, every workshop I've gone to where a shoot is a part of it, and I'm excited to learn from a photographer, during the shooting portion you don't learn anything, because it's just a frenzy of people trying to shoot the same thing, when I'm like, man, I really wanted to see how you do things. And I feel like I didn't walk away from this experience knowing how you do things. So I think I just always find them a little disappointing, I guess.
I agree. And when I did my original workshop, I kind of, like, went into it, like, telling people, hey, like, the whole point of styled shoots is mostly to learn from other, like, the lead photographers. And it's not, like, obviously, like, I'm going to create something where you get cool content, I guess, but I don't think anyone should go into something like that just looking for that unique, cool content, because it's not unique once you go to a workshop.
I think a lot of people do, though.
But a lot of people do. So my mindset around, like, why I'm waiting to do another one is because I really want to come up with an idea that incorporates that type of creativity, because we all desire that too, but also isn't redundant, I guess, or, like, deceiving. So maybe I'll figure it out. Maybe I figured it out by now. Who knows?
Maybe he has. Maybe.
But yeah, I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
But I think there is something to it. And I think that we also haven't been, I never attended a workshop outside of modeling for them with Michelle. And when I did, yes, it felt, I, like, watched people, like, doing the shoot of us, and I was just like, oh, that's a lot. That would be really stressful.
It's so overwhelming.
It's easy on me because like, I'm not like having to do anything more than be here for a couple hours. So whatever.
Yeah.
But it does seem like a lot. But when I was in it, I was like, man, if I were them, I would hardly be shooting right now, because I want to watch. I want to watch what this person is doing.
Yeah, that's how I am.
It seems so interesting.
I know, but then I feel FOMO, like, oh, everyone got these cool shots but me, and so am I missing something? So that's really hard for me. But anyways, in terms of, like, workshop and education culture, what would you say is working right now? What's good? I'll say something positive.
Okay.
I like that a lot of them are moving virtual.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the barrier to entry for that, like, for an attendee, it can be a huge investment to go to something in person.
It is. It's not just huge, it is.
Huge financial investment.
Yeah.
Time away from home.
Yeah.
Which is good. Like, the first time I ever traveled alone was for an out-of-state workshop, and that was a massively important experience in my life, because now I travel alone all the time. But I was so scared to travel alone for the first time. Victor dropped me off, and I cried going through security. I was so scared to travel alone. So that was an amazing experience. And so I wouldn't have traded that for anything. But I love that there is such a push for more virtual education, just as a result of living through COVID and everything, because it makes it so much easier to invest in education in a more low pressure way. Like, I can buy that course, take it when I can. I don't need to spend thousands of dollars to go somewhere. I don't need to take a whole 4 days or 5 days off, whatever. So I think I like that direction of things. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's much more tangible.
Yeah.
Which also can help you sell more too if you are an educator, because
there's no ceiling to that.
Right, and people can impulse buy that stuff pretty easily.
Yes, no ceiling to that. So okay, well, you don't think much is working. So what's not working?
I mean, I think that the workshop culture and stuff has died down a bit, which I think is a good thing.
Do you think just because of COVID?
I do think just because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what goes on next. So I'm anxiously, like, waiting to see who launches what next, and then, like, if that culture comes back, because it's very degrading. Is that the right word? No. It's very hard not to, like, look at these things and like, for people not to be jealous, or to, like, put false narratives out there that aren't true, or, like, false teachings. That's such a biblical word too.
False teachings.
No Pharisees.
You are okay. So let's back up for a sec. what do you think about like all the education people are putting out there right now? Do you think it's all good? Do you think there's a lot of fluff out there? Do you think
there's so much fluff? That's easy to say, but
Yeah.
I think that also I'm trying to be objective and like be like, okay, well, I'm a certain way and I'm successful for being who I am, but they're obviously successful too. So is it just that we're different, or is it that people just believe that they're BS, or what is it?
Yeah, it can be hard to
You know?
to sniff that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you think every photographer could be an educator? Do you think every single one?
I think they could.
Yeah,
Like, everyone
like-
has something that they can
Yeah,
teach.
okay, that's interesting.
I don't think that everyone should teach on everything. Like
Yeah.
I'm not one to teach on, for example, like how to handle imposter syndrome, like we talked about in the last episode, because I'm not super familiar with it. But I feel like, you know, you do a very good job of explaining it to people and helping people like get out of it. So, and then, you know, I'm really good at, like we were talking about just a second ago, like I feel like I'd be really good at motivating people to chase after their goals. And that's something that like people can say about me, like that I am that way, so it makes sense to learn that from me. You know?
Yeah, so I guess it comes down to figuring out what your secret sauce is, like what
Ooh,
your
secret
that
sauce.
unique thing you do or you offer, or that thing you're legitimately passionate about. So
Yes.
maybe the bullshit education comes in when it's like, oh, I need to put something out, I want something to make money, this will
Yep.
be easy and quick.
Yep.
But it's like, find the thing that really makes you different, set your soul on fire, like the thing that you like. I'm very passionate about teaching about like mental health and running a business.
Yeah.
And I am not a mental health professional, but I'm like a business professional
That
with
has
mental
dealt with it,
health
yeah.
shit and
So-
in a lot of intense
No, that's
therapy.
great.
So I feel like I would like to share what I've learned in
Yeah.
that and what's helped me. Yeah. And like moving a business, I did that. I
Yep.
feel passionate about that. I'm not putting anything out that's like something that I'm just putting out just to make a quick buck.
Right.
I think that's like the difference.
Yeah, and I think the thing with that too would be like, okay, so now that you know what your skills are, what your secret sauce is, what are the things that you can put out there that are new and easy for people to use, easy for people to have access to? Because it doesn't have to be a big complicated thing.
It really doesn't.
No.
I also want to give the disclaimer. I'm working on a course right now that I've been in the works for years. I've talked about it in previous episodes, hinted at it, I should rather say. I've been working on it for like 5 months. It's really hard. I don't know how people bust out a lot of courses, like, and also
Well, I
shoot
think
a
it's
lot.
your first one too.
Yeah, my first one.
So once you do the next one, it'll be easier.
Yeah, maybe. It's just
I think
taking
so.
forever to like script it and memorize it and record and edit and film the B-roll and now figure out what to do with it. And like, oh my God, it's like a 15 module. I don't know how people do this a lot. It's so anyways, I'll share more when it comes out on the process of that, I think, because it's been such a learning experience. But any last parting final words?
No.
Okay, bye.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it. We did
Yay.
it. But again, also like all the other things, don't feel like you need to move into education to be successful in this.
Yeah.
If it's not for you, it's not for you. And if you don't want to, don't.
Yeah.
Just like getting published or traveling, like all these things we think make us special or worthy. Don't do it if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And if you don't have something really on your heart to put out there.
Right. Don't just put something out there for the sake of putting something out there. I think that that's something that's easy to do. Like once I was like, oh, I feel capable of teaching mentor sessions. I just did it. And I just did it very unintentionally. And I feel like I could have marketed it in a different way, or like we were talking about, talked about the things that I'm really good at teaching. So, hey, come do a, business strategy marketing or mentor session with me. Something like that is actually relevant to what I'm good at. Would have been more attractive to people rather than just like, oh, he does mentor sessions, so does Cammie, so does this person, everyone does them, who do I pick? So
Damn
be
straight.
intentional about what you're good at.
I like that. Good parting word. Okay, now.
Yeah.